It's time to start. The last match of the day brings us a long-anticipated battle. Two of the best Lamb boys to ever compete are going head-to-head for top four. Vatira, he's been close before. He's been this close before. He refuses to fail again. Jack, he's led his team by example, by voice, in every meaning of the word. The most important fight of their life begins now. Karmine Corp versus Gen.G, the brawl of the Titans.
The road to Championship Sunday has one final ride. The greatest Saturday in Rocket League history enters its last best of 7. Karmine Corp versus Gen.G Esports. The rubber must meet the road. This is the playoffs, and this is game 1.
No lives left. No time left to worry about anything that's happened before. Just 5 minutes. Some of the best to do it in their respective regions and a lot of pressure. Who crumbles?
This is the 10th time the EU #1 seed and NA's #1 seed have met at LAN. So far, it's been all of Europe dominance, an 8-1 record. Do things change here in our opening game when it comes to starting off hot? Gen.G win 87.5% of their games when they score first. They're going to need that consistency early on against this blue wall.
They're going to have to work hard against a deep back like Itachi. So good at delaying any type of counterattack. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Nolly. He tends to be a pretty solid put-away guy, and he's got his work cut out for him in that position today.
Just simply space on the transition for Vatira. He was wide open downfield, and Gen.G giving free real estate.
Pull the string, Vati. You got the space. Apparently, Jack says, I'm going to take it away, and he says, too late. We're through already. Huge shot from Vati to open it up.
It's got to be important to remember that coming into this series, Karmine Corp are warmed up. They went to 7 against Complexity. Gen.G have had to wait for a while. Whether or not that spells disaster is yet to be seen, but Karmine Corp are hot, and they got their captain leading them off with a 1-0 lead.
Best of 7 will help Gen.G in that regard. A little bit of time to at least get accustomed to what they should be seeing. Right now, you just want to see Gen.G at least find this nice, strong clear out of their half and find a solid position to wait in the midfield line.
It's that spacing up towards the ceiling. Exotic going to be so dangerous in this series. If you're Gen.G, isolate some of those roaming players from Karmine Corp, eliminate the space and neutralize the offensive threat. But back to the midfield, the blue wall's been pushed up for quite some time now.
Really like the way Karmine Corp finding space on the pitch, just putting the ball out into an open area so they can find a way to poke and prod at this Gen.G defense, see if they give them anything to work with.
Taking a bit of time to corral that possession, but back to the midfield into the neutral zone before it's poked free for the moment. Chronic, very low boost into the box, flying save from apparently Jack to keep the score at 1.
Needing some type of clear, Nolly able to rip that ball away, but not done yet. K-Corp still pushing, Itachi denied by apparently Jack off the wall, and you're right, K-Corp absolutely has the camp set up in the midfield space, man.
And it's very necessary clear at that, but off the backboard, just look at the boost totals for the moment. Karmine Corp have so much to work with in the resource department. Apparently Jack and Chronic finally getting back some of that reserve, but they have struggled to find this clear. Does it come down to one swing on the transition? Gen.G trying to play it through the corner, but Itachi waiting off the backboard will give it to Vatira.
First chance for Gen.G to go on the attack. Again, stuffed by Exotic. A little bit of space to work with. Dish to Nolly. Put it away and off the bar. Exotic able to keep that one at bay.
Forces the double command back into the box. Dangerous. The demo does clear lane. Power play for the moment. And maybe we see Karmine start to extend their wings, but the fingertips roll off and the ball does as well. Jets back to the opposite corner. Picked up by Chronic. Trying to carry it around. Vatira will do so. Rewarded at the midfield. Apparently Jack waiting for his chance, but gets the call to Nolly. It's open, but the demo clears house and saves Karmine.
Huge demo by Vati and dished out to Exotic. Just a step out of the way, though. And Chronic, uncontested past the midfield line. Itachi finally grabbing some boost on his back line. Dish back to him. Hard shot. Saved by apparently Jack. Here comes Vati. Back across the middle. The only one there is Chronic, and Karmine Corp going to have to reset the attack.
Good patience on the defensive line from Karmine, just tracking that possession from Gen.G all the way back to the midfield. Taking their chances one at a time. Vatira in space, uses the reset for the 50, leaves it into a possession. The boys in orange start to move up to the other side of the field, but have to deal with 2 members on the backboard. Karmine Corp stacking, possession to Gen.G. Sharp shot, better save, still a 1-0 game.
Out of space, Exotic just finding his teammate straight down the gut, and that's going to be 2-0 Karmine Corp.
If you overextend, you might get punished, and this is what Karmine do so well. Exotic can pull up from anywhere he wants, but he leaves it on the pass. It was wide open in the center of the field, and they punch it through.
Apparently Jack thinking he had that time to go grab that boost in the midfield. It looked like there was backside support on that challenge from Nolly. Unfortunately, dead wrong, just got dished into the middle. No one in time for Gen.G. A lot to do with not a lot of time to work with.
Still your winners quarterfinals, but we got a minute 28 to play, and Itachi has space for days.
Dagger for Itachi. Apparently Jack trying to find a way through, and you can see how quick Exotic came through out of the midfield, closed that gap on him before he could find any space to put that ball. And Karmine Corp just crushing Gen.G.
It's that up-tempo on the goal line achieves how quickly Karmine ramp up the pressure and just burn all of their boost to beat the defender on the pre-jump. Gen.G have to be ready on the goal line.
Dead right. Itachi again so fast in that first challenge. Karmine Corp ready for anything, but he got a hand on it, but not enough. Gen.G will get one back.
Chronic was the standout in Boston. He helped Gen.G start to make their run late in the bracket, and he finally finds his first goal here in this series. Still time on the clock. Gen.G have to work back from a deficit.
Just the long bomb across the pitch. Actually give yourself a little bit of a playable situation. Just start with a good kickoff here, Gen.G, and who knows what you can work with. Itachi just whiffed the ball, and Nolly gonna try and make something out of nothing. Gen.G eating out fast.
Gen.G, of course, shooting around 26.4% from the field. Hasn't been the cleanest approach in the World Championship, but it's certainly gotten the job done. Still staying in the winner bracket. Now playing their toughest opponent yet, one of the best in the world. And when Vatira is shooting like this, you better have a wing and a prayer.
You can't stop him. Vatira came alive in the last series, not lost a step in the interim. Bullet, top left corner, unsavable. Good night, game one.
The averages across the season for both these squads were almost parallel in shots, demos, saves, nearly identical. They are so good in a parallel matchup against one another. Primary options for apparently Jack. Vatira has to continue to be a shot-for-shot record against that captain on the other side. And so far, he has answered the call, but Itachi in space is deadly. Facilitations early on for Karmine Corp and a 3-goal lead to boot.
Another huge booming clear from KC. Just looking for anything to work with right now if you're Gen.G. You'd like to just not be on defense for the last 30 seconds. It's been a brutal game one. You gotta take your hat off to the way Karmine Corp has played this one. Gen.G completely locked down. So a little time to work with here just to collect your wits and not even able to jam one through at the end of it.
I mean, you're just wasting time from the blue wall. The progressions upfield haven't been there for Gen.G. Luckily for them, it's only game one, but Karmine are absolutely rolling after that last long series. And boy, oh boy, do they look good. It might end at 4-1, but achieves. It's a game one win for Karmine and a very important best of 7.
Well deserved. Nolly just gentlemanly touch straight to the floor. No need to continue. Let's get this one moving forward. I don't blame him. Truly, positional masterclass from KC there in the midfield. Not thrown off by anything Gen.G wanted to do. They went across the field. They came right with them. And they just kept jamming everything back into that Gen.G half. And when Gen.G finally broke out, they actually ended up overextending more often than not and just got beat back the other way.
And when Karmine are saving their boost at the midfield, winning those 50s to set up teammates, then they can use the boost on the goal line to beat out a defender, get a quick shot, change the pace. That's what's worked so well for this squad since they formed, why Vatira's been a pinnacle of their success. But really, Exotic and Itachi setting up so much for the offense in this game. Gen.G just could not find an answer.
Got 3 assists for Exotic, just able to keep that ball playable out of the midfield. And of course, as you said, Itachi and Vatira more than happy to collect on their fair share of chances. Respectable goal spread for Karmine Corp. And what do you do if you head into game 2 if you're Gen.G? It really doesn't seem like you have to worry about that much, but maybe the passing option out of your half might not be the way. You'll have to think about maybe do we have enough boost in our tanks to see if we can force some type of air dribble and just take a 50 in the air and see if you can win that positional battle, because passing, Karmine Corp was all over it. That was not the way.
The Gen.G come into this averaging about 1.6 assists per game. They get one there, but still, this is a team that is so efficient with their passes. They love the orchestrations as a unit. They weren't able to find it. Credit to Karmine in game 1. Now into Forbidden Temple in game 2. A very big momentum game here for Gen.G, but Karmine are rolling.
Apparently Jack caught leaning off the kickoff. Puts his team in a small deficit, but a demo will help. But look at Vatira, how fast he got back in on that play and keeps Karmine Corp in it with a boost steal. So a little bit blunted here is the Gen.G attack, and now it's actually going to be Exotic on his lonesome back through the orange half.
First save goes the way of Gen.G to start things off. Proceedings have been very quick. 30 seconds burning into the corner we go. Noli low in the tank, will have to fly back as the third man. Apparently Jack watching Exotic bring this back down to reality as Vatira gets the call. The pickup on the point.
Oh, boy.
The net's wide open, and Vatira scores.
Vatira knew he had Chronic absolutely cooked here. Look at all this ground, one-on-one. Apparently Jack approaching thinking, man, I gotta get in his face. I have to try and stop him. But you can't stop Vati.
He's trying to track with him, but there's just not enough space. Karmine Corp are going to abuse the space they're given. So far, they did it in game 1. Consistency reigns supreme here in game 2. A lot of time to be played, but for Gen.G, keys to victory, what needs to change for them going into the second one?
Right now, just got to start with time on the ball. You can't keep throwing it away. Chronic trying to do that, stall it somewhere. Actually, a miss from Exotic may help them. But you got to get right back on this 50 versus Vatira, and apparently Jack trying to do just that. They know what they have to do. Achieving it is a whole nother matter entirely.
2 stack on the midfield, but a one-on-one spread. It was Exotic fighting against Chronic for possession. Poke free, and then check out by Gen.G, but the pass to Itachi, looking for Exotic, cut down by Gen.G, back into the play we go. So many times these 50s favor the blue wall, and Vatira from the ceiling still wins a touch. Exotic up to the backboard, finds the touch, and finds the goal. Make it 2 for Karmine Corp.
Exotic all over it. You can feel it with Vati pressing hard out of that corner. Itachi following suit, saying, you want to go for it? We'll jam it. It's in the house. And it pays off. 2-0 lead for Karmine Corp. Gen.G not able to keep up with the pressure.
You have to be worried about those follow-up challenges from Itachi. Once Vatira finds the play off the ceiling, Gen.G, we're just watching those stones fall from the sky. And apparently Jack trying to get one back for Gen.G, but the offense just hasn't been there.
You can see why. Karmine Corp, relatively easy to find a way out of their own half. Most times it's a lot of Gen.G dump and chase, and Exotic gonna jam another one home.
Feels like we're playing free play for the moment. It's just shooting practice for Karmine Corp. The catch, leaving the reset, wins the dunk. Chronic, the latest victim on the replay. A 3-0 lead and a quick one at that.
A brutal start to the second game. You think, man, we just got to find a way to get it out of our own half a little bit more consistently. And then you come in trying to do a few different things, and you're still just getting absolutely crushed by this Karmine Corp midfield.
Karmine Corp winning 71% of their games when they score first. How about 2 times? How about 3? Percentages continue to rack on up. And as of right now, they are in complete control of this game, what might be the series. A 2-0 lead's deadly on land. And with the pressure mounting, it's up to Gen.G to find a response. Trying to win the 50 through the corner, but Vatira wins another. Itachi follow up, quick shot, 4-0.
You can't beat it right now. Gen.G, absolute madness not to take a timeout here after game 2. I think you have to. You can see what I'm talking about, though. Karmine Corp all over them out of the midfield. Nothing across any lane for Gen.G right now.
It's the reserves for Karmine Corp. They have so much to burn on the initial touch, winning the rebounds, the second as well. Itachi, reset, center box, slap shot, back of the net, saved by Chronic.
Apparently Jack, he's doing the right thing, trying to keep the ball close, and he will finally break Gen.G out of their own half, but can you get the ball back? Nolly, a huge 50, can't turn it into the net. Unfortunately, Gen.G stymied once again.
But those are the solo plays you need if you're Gen.G, just to break up the monotonous grind from Karmine Corp. You have to start finding that respect in the midfield yet again. Itachi working through the own corner. Vatira burning it all, but can't find the finish. Here comes Exotic, just popping it free and burning time off the clock.
Maybe a bit of an overextension here from Karmine Corp. They task Itachi to keep it up. Nolly 1-on-2 to the left side, and Vatira in the net, able to keep it out. Karmine Corp reset the defense and forced once again Gen.G all the way back with 1 touch. Gen.G just having to cover so much field with so little boost. They're giving up a lot of space just to try and stay in the plays.
Gen.G struggling to find the clean touches of their own back line, burning a lot of boost to regain possession. Karmine Corp more than happy to continue the challenge. Into the front of the box, pushed out of the offensive third. It's a transition and a breakaway chance. Vatira double tap off the crossbar. It will ricochet out, scooped up and picked up by Appjack. Around 1, 2 to beat. He has the boost, he has the will, but Vatira clears it to the corner.
Another denial. Vatira locked in here in this series. It's only game 2. Gen.G gonna have to do something. And honestly, it might just be resorting to, look, we're not getting anything done with the challenges. Stop playing the ball. Like right here in the corner for Chronic, just go smash somebody out of the way, force Karmine Corp to cover extra ground.
Not all demos are weighted the same, but now would be a great time to invest in that physicality. If it pays dividends in the boost grab, sure, that's great. But more importantly, you are looking for the infield passes, but it's so difficult. Exotic is in open space, and he's not gonna miss.
You've seen this actually almost exact play earlier on in the series. You can see apparently Jack splitting off to the midfield, thinking he's got a little bit of time to go get some boost. He's got a teammate there for the challenge, someone who's gonna be behind him, and in fact, nobody's ready at all. completely empty net. 5-0 game 2. KC on a roll.
Really feels like both these teams are playing at different speeds. Karmine are just a step faster, a step quicker.
Oh, whoa.
Winning the 50s consistently. They don't even need bumps or demos. They're getting to the ball way quicker than Gen.G expect. Into the midfield. Vatira gonna try to pick it up, avoiding one bump. Apparently Jack will kick it out.
You can feel the anger, the frustration from apparently Jack. The pace is picked up from him, and he's gonna drive one to the left side. It's not gonna mean a lot, but it was pretty.
And you just gotta get one going, establish a baseline here for Gen.G. Beautiful double tap off the back wall.
Oh, great.
The elbow shot's disgusting. If the score wasn't as one-sided as it looks, that might be able to help get things back into a different gear, but for now, Gen.G just have to settle for one, maybe two.
Stunner for Jack, and I've said it a few times before. Sometimes a team just needs one player to go out there, make a big play, get the engine started. You say, okay, we can do this. Just settle in, lead by example. That is exactly what apparently Jack is trying to do there.
This is a Gen.G roster that knows adversity, but they also know how to beat the best of the best. They put on a clinic against G2 in a 4-1 victory. They know what it takes, but they're getting outplayed on every single metric against the blue wall. And at the biggest moment, that can't happen. Exotic, one for the road, double tap, but this game 2's done. At the moment, Karmine Corp up 2-0 in the series.
Very curious to see how Gen.G handles this. Very likely timeout incoming. We will wait on confirmation. But a blowout in game 2 after a suffocating game 1. Karmine Corp, they don't look like they're going out anytime soon. So take a moment here if you're Gen.G. I think Jack absolutely had the right approach. The guy just started jumping at everything, and it was actually paying off. He was winning some big challenges and pushing things back the other way and trying to break that monotonous defensive grind you were talking about, Spaceman.
It really has just been a Sports Earth protocol for the moment. Gen.G struggling, a necessary timeout called in their Mobile and High Performance replay. Exotic upfield was deadly. 3 goals on 4 shots, nearly perfect from the field, but Itachi with an assist in 4 of his own. It was phenomenal work as a group. Karmine Corp had all cylinders firing.
Wonderful show from Karmine Corp. Apparently Jack wisely taking his time out with his team, Chronic and Nolly. Some things to consider. Vatira, Exotic, and Itachi, obviously you guys don't have to change anything, so let's go ahead and talk with LeafX for a moment and see what he can get from some information and some people.
I'm down here with Marky Duda from Gaming Gladiators. I feel like there's a lot that they should be talking about here. What's going on? What's your analysis on the match so far?
So I spoke to Chronic a wee bit. He says for their timeouts, they spend 30 seconds talking and 30 seconds breathing. If I were them right now, I would use that 30 seconds of talking to just like get into a much feistier, fierier mindset. 'Cause at the moment, it's a bit of they're being slight pushovers, if I'm being totally honest. But I know all 3 of them have some serious fire in there, some serious competitive spirit, and they need to like dig in and find that right now because they're much better players than this. They have the quality, they just need to fight for it a wee bit more.
Do you think they're going to use those extra 30 seconds to talk even more, or do you think it's important they take that 30 seconds to breathe?
Yeah, I think when it's this drastic and this bad, it's not a case of calming down. It's well, I mean, partially, yes, a case of calming down, but it's a case of finding some fighting spirit and finding some fire.
Well, let's find out if that timeout helped. Let's get back to the game.
Well, that is a big timeout and a necessary one. You can see kind of the frustration right now from Noli, but if there's anybody on that stage who can get Gen.G back in form, it's Jack and Noli together.
That's crazy. You hear him talking about, let's go ahead, let's find that fire, and you can see Nolly taking a moment there trying to psych himself up. Seeming to take some of that advice. Game 3, what do you got in the tank? Gen.G, see if you come out swinging here.
Same question going to be asked to Gen.G. They need a game in this series, starting off hot from Chronic. And a follow-up touch. Noli getting very physical on the back wall. Exotic had to break his stop and get out of the play. Vatira, double tap.
Oh my gosh!
Vatira!
And Gen.G trying their best to come out hot. Apparently Jack stuck in at the midfield, trying to make it tough, but look at Fati squeeze this one over Chronic. A beauty of a double tap.
And the beauty of the face cams, you just see him laughing, having a good time, looking comfortable, calm, cool, collected from Karmine Corp. That's what you want to see out of a championship roster on the biggest stage. For Gen.G, a couple of physical bumps off the rip, but nothing too threatening as they try to work back to the midfield. They were getting stuffed on their own side.
Chronic ready to defend that shot from Itachi. Gen.G in a bit of a mess on the defensive structure at the moment. Vatira scoops one into the center. They're all out of boost. None of them can get there. KC running away again.
Where's the regain? Where's the pause? It's an absolute slaughter from Karmine Corp. Back off the kickoff. A time to breathe and a chance for a reset through the corner. And a great shot, but a better save. Chronic starting to light up a little bit in this game 3. You need him more than ever.
Huge stop from Karmine Corp, but you love to see Gen.G come out off the kickoff with something to work with and trying to keep that pressure going. Vatira just punting one down the middle. Nolly, you gotta buy time for your team here.
Into the midfield, try to hold on possession. Itachi will be racing against apparently Jack to the corner. He'll bite the dust. We'll see him on respawn. Power play will dissolve to Gen.G. Pass into the box. Vatira, quick cut down. Follow-up numbers. Apparently Jack off the bar, and it will ricochet out. Karmine Corp surviving the assault.
Tight angle, but you gotta hustle back. Apparently Jack just smacked one off the side wall. Exotic, again, not quite in time on the challenges. Gen.G are on the blue half. They start to tighten up that timing a little bit and may start to re-enable the offense some extra chances.
Right pass to apparently Jack, just can't beat the last defender. As Karmine turtle up, playing this one-on-one challenge, so crucial off that back wall. Follow-up from Chronic, it's desperate at that, but a necessary one regardless. We fly out on counterattack. Transitions now for Karmine Corp. Fighting through tooth and nail on these back corners. Center to Vatira, he doesn't want to overcommit. Maybe a chance. Never mind, right back to the midfield.
Oh, Vatira missed it. Wide open net. Gen.G just completely flubbed the touch. Thankfully not punished for it, but the second chance for Exotic, not quite able to get back to it. Apparently Jack wisely stalling the play out on his own backboard, and Gen.G scrambling to recover.
Another boost grab in space. Itachi at the midfield has found resources available for the majority of this series, but apparently Jack working on the same corner he worked in game 2. Will he be successful here for the moment? No. Possession back to the boys in blue.
Vatira looking for a transition, but Karmine Corp may not even be trying to score necessarily anymore. They may be happy to just smack the ball into the Gen.G corner. They're feeling quite confident there out of the midfield. And Exotic will now just take the time he's given and force Jack to make a light save.
When the defenders peel off, you're seeing Karmine Corp favor that one-on-one game. They're really going to play the mechanics and pick it up against Gen.G. So far, Gen.G have not answered the call, and that bump does help, but every time they set up a play, they're getting knocked out of the way.
You can see what Gen.G are trying to do now. Whenever they get the ball over on that offensive side, they go for that really wide spread, the deep pass across, and Karmine Corp, great awareness on defense, well aware of where that ball's going. The Gen.G playbook all thrives on the misdirection, and they've never been in position to really go for that. There's a great pass in the middle, and it's still denied.
Every time you show your cards, the table gets flipped, and Karmine Corp laugh in your face. Denying so many opportunities and shots. Follow-up attempt denied. Chronic, Noli, another one. Second touch, Noli through the corner, and he'll fly out to the adjacent side. Exotic will pick it up.
Gen.G finally on their first real push here on the attack. How long does it last? At least a few more touches. KC just wanting some type of strong clear out of their own half, and that's the right way. Just force them to take it with the mechanics through the midfield and see if they've got the ability to beat you. So far, Gen.G's been struggling. Dished into the middle, tight window, and Nolly will square it away.
You had two defenders who flew off the play. Now you get an opportunity in space with numbers. Chronic waits, sends the pass to Noli, and that is the Gen.G you're used to in the offensive third.
Well, you haven't been able to connect on a long pass across the middle. How about a real short one? KC finally a step behind. Gen.G cut the lead in half, and not quite off the kickoff, just wide.
Shorten the distance, you're rewarded. Gen.G trying to find their second goal and an equalizer here in game 3. A big one in this series. Momentum is huge. Oh, 1v1 is great as well. Apparently Jack ties it.
Again, apparently Jack delivers a big one for his team. This time a great trap and a huge 50 versus Itachi. Exotic under pressure, harried by the approach from apparently Jack's teammate, and he will just inch it around him.
Scrappy as they might be, do not underestimate Gen.G. Karmine Corp, a 2-0 lead that dissolves quickly, and under 60 to play here in game 3.
Gen.G again stretching there in the midfield. Now they tried to open up game 3, but you can't doubt that this is by far and away the best Gen.G has looked in this series so far, and it's still a tight one. Not even close to over. Hard into the middle, apparently Jack diving. Chronic needing to buy time. Itachi crushing the 50 game, and a nice save from Nolly.
Nolly is the second man, really taking a page out of Vatira's playbook, working off the ceiling, trying to set up that center pass in the front of the box. allowing apparently Jack to roam as the individual. Running point, Chronic, working off the ground, but a long clear from Karmine Corp. They're gonna try to play this possession off the initial touch in the second effort. Itachi will be up, and apparently Jack wins it. Can he follow up? Yes, but easily saved. He'll have to keep it up.
Ali down into the corner, not quite to the distance of his teammate. Overtime in game 3, you feel like you need it if you're Gen.G.
The first golden goal opportunity here in this best of 7 or winners quarterfinals. The start of the playoffs, it's been a fun one. But Karmine Corp are on a tear. With something to prove, and Gen.G have a lot to get through. That blue wall is tough to break. Itachi being a nuisance in the front of the line to commit through the corner. It's open, but a quick save from Chronic. Long clear to the backboard. Corralled by Itachi. They'll be picked up on the infield. Exotic can't find the 50, but Vatira will.
Chronic a little early on that 50. His teammate will come through and support. Jack looking for a little help. Gen.G seeing if they can build some semblance of structure for the attack in overtime. Karmine Corp trying their best to close it out once again with that quality midfield challenge game they've had all series.
Vatira trying to thread it to Itachi, setting up the teammate, but that demo helps. And it gives a chance to Gen.G to escape downfield, but Exotic slowing the play and forcing the offense to collapse. Now your numbers are pressing. Here comes apparently Jack. Very low in the tank. Vatira in space is dangerous. You must press here if you're Gen.G.
Gotta make sure you don't overextend. Nolly just in time. Exotic trying to smother the clears, and Vatira will come through once again!
From the elbow, do you doubt the two-time MVP? I don't think so. A masterful read and a 3-0 lead.
The guy is lights out. Will not be denied. Probably feels like he's deserved a chance at a grand final, and he is taking every step forward that comes his way. 6:32, a hat trick for Vatira. 3 goals, 3 shots, perfection.
Every single player on that stage, a major champion in the Rocket League Championship Series. But only one team as of now looks in final form. That, of course, is Karmine Corp. Up 3-0 on series point for Gen.G. They don't have a timeout. As of right now, what do you do?
It's a much better look. I like the idea. They knew they needed to up the pace. They knew they were getting crushed at the midfield. So they said, you know what? Let's go ahead and send everything we got as we take a look at the Mobile 1 high-performance replay. It kept them in the game. They put a couple of great shots on target, but even if you break through that midfield defense, the unfortunate reality is Karmine Corp still just as lethal in the net. But can you beat the ice from Vati? Not at the moment. It sure doesn't feel like it.
Hey, it's tough. Karmine go against complexity, a very tough series, but Gen.G have been waiting for a while. One of the best minds in Rocket League, that's Achieves. I'm just me. This crowd's fantastic. The World Championship's been great, Achieves, but this Karmine Corp looks deadly. They look serious.
Absolutely lethal, to be sure. There can be no doubt about that. We head into match point. Gen.G, the great North American hope, if you want to call it that. They have given it their all. Is there anything left in the tank? Or is the top 8 the end of the road here for their first transfer season?
Time dwindles away slowly. But with all the pressure mounting, Gen.G are major champions. They know what it takes to work back from a deficit. They're going to have to break down Karmine Corp brick by brick, stretch by stretch, pass by pass. And so far, Vatira has been out-shooting apparently Jack. The tip of the spear for the offense for Gen.G. That's been the difference maker. Vatira has just been so crucial in these series.
Chronic, a little bit of space to work with in the midfield. Exotic, huge recognition. A little bit of miscommunication from Gen.G, but the attack should recover. They will spread off, grab a little bit of boost, but unfortunately it leaks through the midfield line. Exotic, 1-on-2, just trying to see if he can break through some extra Gen.G defenders. And everybody gonna take a chance, catch their breath here.
Positioning has just been phenomenal from Karmine Corp. Whether or not they have boost doesn't matter. At the midfield, they're reading the touches from Gen.G, and they're poking the ball free, really shutting down the offense once they start swinging into high gear.
Everybody with a full tank on the Gen.G side. Could be one of their best pushes. Vati sniffs it out early. And again, a nice fake from apparently Jack. They know Karmine Corp is going to be right on those challenges, so they're trying every trick in the book to see if they can just get the ball through the first man.
Looked like Chronic wasn't sure if he wanted to clear the ball. Itachi went up for the challenge and took it right away. Now you're seeing the transition out of Karmine Corp because of that 50. And the bully ball on the backboard from Vatira. Karmine Corp are pressed up and not leaving the orange zone.
Great patience from Itachi on those 50s, just to keep things stuck in. Chronic hoping for a big pinch. Apparently Jack just trying his best to force the attack, and so close, but just off the line.
It's going to take heroics like that to bring this series back from the brink. Chronic to the sidewall, looking for apparently Jack, has him in connection, but Itachi, a hand up first, and a better read on the ball. Into the midfield, transition begins, numbers spread. For the moment, picked up by apparently Jack. Around one, ricochets out, Itachi clears.
Itachi gonna have to cover that one as well, just able to get the spoiler on it. Nolly circling. Gen.G smelling blood in the water. Is there an attack?
Certainly looks like it, but numbers hang back. Unsure if we want to overextend, a bit overzealous at the moment. Gen.G just trying to work through their own corner. A mistouch by Nolly, gives it right back to Itachi. And that 50 just helps Vatira set up in space.
Vatira so lethal, it gives his teammate an open net. Exotic will collect. Karmine Corp in front one more time.
Gen.G do so much work just to try to break out of their own zone. They're getting beat on every single touch, the rebounds, the challenges, the 50s. And when it's all said and done, when the dust settles, Karmine Corp are there to pick up the scraps and put away that possession. Another lead for Karmine Corp. Wide on the kickoff. Thinking twice with Vatira. Right now you can burn a bit of time, but if you're winning possession after possession, you don't have to worry too much about getting beat off the ball. Full in the tank, Itachi carrying. He'll get cut down, Nolly denying the second goal.
Big save from Nolly. His teammates getting pressured by the physical approach from Karmine Corp, excuse me, as Itachi open net again, and 2-0 KC.
It's just so easy. Vatira through two. Itachi, how do you do?
What can you do? Has to be running through the minds of Gen.G. Every now and again, you play the game, you feel like you're locked in, and other times you play the game and you feel like you run straight into the brick wall. And this time it's Karmine Corp, brick by brick, allowing just about nothing to Gen.G.
The best warm-up Karmine Corp probably had in this entire tournament was against Complexity. A very close series against BDS, they fall short. It was a sloppy one as well. So far, it's been near perfection from Karmine Corp. Very little mistakes, excellent in the spacing, and perfect counterattack setting up each other. There's just really not much to say. Gen.G just don't have much going.
Take what the defense gives you. Karmine Corp has shown that, and Itachi says, watch this.
Well, you see it one more time. 123 kilometers per hour? What's a kilometer? What's a defense? That's the question Karmine are asking. Because they have a commanding lead here on Coliseum, and they are a minute 30 away from sweeping through the quarterfinals.
On an absolute tear. Gen.G needing some type of intervention, be it divine or otherwise, to get their way through, and maybe apparently Jack gets the engine started again. He tries to pull his team back from the brink.
All it takes is one, and finally apparently Jack draws first blood for Gen.G. It took a bit of time to get going, but a beautiful solo play upfield. It was required in game 2 to break open the offense. They shortened the length between the passes, and they found success. Can they do the same here?
Is it too little too late? But no time to worry about that. Think about back of that blue net. That's the only place you're trying to get to, and apparently Jack is going to need some help to do it. He runs out of boost, and here comes the KC press. They'll just let Gen.G bring him the ball, and in fact, Gen.G's not even going to hit it.
Guys, it downfield, double touch, still not there. Follow up, yes, of course. Exotic gets one right back.
They missed on their counterattack. They missed the ball. They missed the catch on the backboard. Nobody can recover, and they missed getting a hand up to save the open net. Camera, done. Roll the tape, run it back in the offseason. Gen.G, this is the end of the road. KC, lights out.
It's got to be so frustrating to play against this blue wall. You work so hard for Gen.G, you come so far, but for Karmine Corp, in final form, absolutely deadly. Everyone needs to be on notice. I don't care who they're playing, if they're playing like this, they have a real chance at securing that championship. Under 30 to play. Gen.G, their season comes down to this. Flick to the box, Chronic. Off the crossbar fallout from Noli, and it will fall through. Hold on a moment, we got time on the clock.
Something to work with. Apparently Jack uncontested finds Chronic. Vatira finally can't reach something. And Nolly just able to muscle one through the middle of the Karmine Corp defense. 13 seconds, you need a great kickoff here.
Comes down to this one possession. It is a great kickoff. Noli to apparently Jack, but Vatira was waiting. The scout punches it free. The matchup everybody wanted to see. With this win, Karmine Corp will play Vitality in semifinals tomorrow and a beautiful 4-0 sweep against Gen.G.